I love that song. Hi, you guys. Welcome back to
Hello.
Behind the Moon. My name is Bobby.
Hello, everybody. My name is Ramón from the Moon Scarab channel.
And my name is CELINA from Essence of the Moon.
We have decided to join forces to do a weekly show on Thursday night. And on this show, we discuss not only tarot and oracle, we discuss pretty much anything that crosses our little minds. If we feel that this is a topic we've come across that we really want everybody to know about, we've got the perfect forum for it. So we're doing that. Tonight, we're talking about divination in ancient Mesopotamia. Now, when we think divination, this is not a new thing. As long as there have been people on this planet, there's been divination. Mesopotamia is one of the oldest, it is the oldest civilization, but I'm not going to go into it too much. We're going to let Ramon guide us tonight. What I would like to talk to you about real quick before I start saying hello to everybody, is we are in Pride season. Now, Miss Tarot D did a show the other night, and on that show, she put a link to the TREVOR project, and everybody donated money. That was such an amazing idea that I have put the link in my description box. If you don't know what the TREVOR project is, I'm going to fill you in right now. The TREVOR project is an American nonprofit organization founded in 1998, focused on suicide prevention efforts for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and questioning youth. They offer a toll-free telephone number where confidential assistance is provided by trained counselors. The stated goals of the project are to provide crisis intervention and suicide prevention services for youth, defined by the organization as people under 25, as well as to offer guidance and resources to parents and educators in order to foster safe, accepting, and inclusive environments for all youth at home, schools, and colleges. The TREVOR Project also operates the internet forum TREVOR Space. When I was a young little queer, I didn't have organizations like this. It was rough. So I honestly wish I did have this. Maybe I wouldn't have led such a rough existence, but maybe it would have been worse. Who knows? The point is, tonight we're helping out the TREVOR Project for Pride. So if you would like to make a donation, please check out the links box and we'll go from there. Now, let me bring my colleagues back up and let's say hi to some people, shall we? Go all the way back up to the top. Okay. We have Maruta, Madame Maru's House of Cards, who has been on my channel with 420 with me. She is awesome. We all love her as the best mod in town.
Yes. Thank you.
We've got Francine, Purple Moon Tarot. This is a new channel, you guys. Check it out. I'm excited to have new blood constantly. I'm started my channel last year. CELINA started hers just a couple months ago. Ramon's the grandfather of the group.
Careful with your words.
Right? We are very encouraging of new channels the way everybody was encouraging of us. So we've got Miss Tarot D. What's up, Angel
Speaking
Bum?
of Miss Tarot
Yes,
D,
we were talking backstage about Miss Tarot D, and both CELINA and I received an amazing box, and we were comparing our dolls. I mean, the box had a lot of like really awesome stuff. It had Miss Tarot D's exclusive Florida water, which smells amazing. I use Florida water. I actually have a few bottles around, but this one is homemade. It was created by her, and it smells totally different.
Completely out of love.
It's so good. Yeah. And on her channel, she has a video on how she made her Florida water. It's amazing. I mean, it's great to watch.
Really good video. It's relaxing.
Yes.
Just
But
It's
you'd
a
be
lot of
sitting
fun.
across the table from her.
It's a
while
beautiful
she's making it.
video.
she
Yeah.
prepped that video.
She made it live,
while-
recorded at her kitchen, and made with
Mhm.
love. But it smells fantastic, and it's very inspirational because you can get ideas on how to make yours, and it's like you can feel the energy and the love in this bottle. So thank you, Miss Haroldie. She shared
If-
also her smudge spray, which smells like sage.
Which I just
Oh my
like
God,
sprayed myself
so good.
already before coming
I wasn't
on.
sure what it was because I received a smudge spray before from her in this bottle, and it was a clear substance. But I was like, "What's this milky substance here? It looks suspicious."
I know.
And
But
then
what
when-
makes it milky, Miss Charity? I love it.
yeah. And then when I opened the roll of the description, it's another smudge spray. So now I have two. I'm
Mhm.
almost done with that one. Like that one's it's almost exhausted, but this one smells so good. And then we have a doll.
Black
And
salt.
Selena
Hold
has her doll. Let me show mine first. I love it because she looks like an old gypsy woman.
She has like a babushka on.
a babushka.
Yeah. And she has like a little broom. And then this beautiful black hair. Amazing. And Selena got one which is different. I like hers too. Do you want to show us yours, Selena?
Hold on, let me embiggen you. There you go.
Isn't she beautiful?
She's beautiful. Yours
Man, look
is
at her hair.
Selena,
Yeah.
your audio.
I like
sounds
yours. Yours is
Am I
nice.
am I
I
funky?
mean, it's different. It's different.
Yeah, there's a little sound after you talk going.
Bloom, the bloom.
It's not cute. Yes, that is that kitchen witch brings good luck to the home. And
Yes,
I
I love it.
if
Mhm.
Gerald from Tarot Stash is the godfather, then we're talking to La Reina, the queen. Miss
Yes.
Tarot,
She's la madrina. She's my madrina.
she's the padrina.
And they
madrina.
came in these beautiful bags. I don't know
I
if yours is
know.
the same.
Yes, they are. Those
Hold
are
on.
They're
beautiful
so nice.
bags.
I normally don't like floral patterns because it's one of those things. It's like with animal prints. If it's not done right, it looks cheesy. But these are so beautiful.
Those
Look
are
how
beautiful.
cute. They're really nice. I can reuse these for decks.
I know.
And
they're
a
so
little
pretty.
Guatemalan doll, a worry doll, and it's beautiful.
Mhm.
But I love this smudge spray. It's like
Everything.
it's like this. It smells like a hug from a Catholic grandmother full of makeup, and like oh,
What did you call her? Okay.
no, it smells so good. It reminds me of my grandmother for real. No, but it's full of love and
Smells-
energy and
Those
positive
scents
Yeah.
take us
vibes.
back.
Like,
Yeah.
it's
We
so
love
good.
you.
Like
Is my audio better?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
I need
Okay.
refills of these refills, plural.
Refills. Yeah.
So, Miss
Um,
Tarody, please set up like a subscription club in which we could like get a monthly refill of the new smudge spray of every month.
That's what you should do, like a subscription box.
A monthly
Totally.
subscription box, Miss Tarot D.
Yes, that will be amazing.
I told.
Thank you, Miss Tarody. We love you.
Thank you so much. We love you.
So we've got Maureen D'Amico. How
Hello.
you doing, Maureen? Old Windwalker.
That's
What
a cool name.
great name. I don't think we've
Mm-hmm.
met before. Hello, my name's Bobby. Nice to meet you.
Hi.
We've got the Midwest Magician.
Hi,
That is
Sophie.
another great
I
name.
know, I
I just
love her.
dig that. Let's see who else we got. And people, we've got 27 people in chat right now, you guys, watching on several channels. Jen, how you doing, babe?
Hello.
Let me see. Selena, hi. Long time no see.
Hi.
Okay. Linda, awesome.
Hello, Linda.
We were just talking about you. I got my dirty deck.
I got mine too.
Yeah, we specifically got him because of you, my dear. Or at least I did. Let's see.
Hi, Jess.
Jess is here.
Hi, Fabled Witch. Her name is Bridget. Check out her channel, guys.
The Fabled Witch. Awesome.
Mhm.
And Maru and any of our mods, feel free to post everybody's
Mhm.
links.
Yeah.
We want our community to grow. That is one of
Be
the reasons
connected. Yeah.
we want that interconnection. One of the best ways to do that is through knowledge, and that is why we do this show. Knowledge is power, babies. Let's see who else we got. Look who's here.
My sister. Hola, Celia. My
How
baby
you
sister.
doing, my
Celia.
love? She is just as much of a badass bitch as CELINA is. I'm telling you guys that now. All right, here we go. Joan Miranda.
Hi, Joanne.
Right.
I always expect that in every show. I always expect that and Chris
and
Butler.
Chris Butler.
Hey, Roman.
I told him that. He
You
was
did?
laughing about it. I did. I said I always manage to work it in, and not on purpose. It just does that. So Roman is with us. La Madrina is here.
Mhm.
Ethan Lon.
Hello.
Is this Ethan from my city, Ethan? Is that you, boo? I'll check it in a second. So if I haven't said hi to you, know that
We have Yadira's here as well. I'm looking at mine on my channel.
yeah, you guys have anybody I missed on your channels?
Yeah, Yadira's here. Hi, Yadira.
What's up, girl?
Oh, and her partner says hi to everybody. David.
Hi, David.
Yeah,
Maple
I have
Grove.
Athlon Lond. Great to see you. Thank you for being here. Candy's Broom Closet.
Oh, that's a cool name.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Maple Grove. Where are you? I'm seeing you on my
Yeah,
screen.
I just saw that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Gen B.
Said no.
Yes.
That's cool. I never heard another Ethan. That's awesome.
Oh, Lexi's here. I just saw Lexi's name. Hi, Lexi.
I can't hear Lexi without going sexy Lexi. It's just a thing. Sexy Lexi. Maureen D'Amico. Joan Miranda.
And Looking
Chris
Glass
Butler.
Tarot's here.
Chris
Heather
Butler.
from Brushbone and Indigo Ash is here.
Hi,
Oh,
Heather.
that's Heather. What up, girlfriend?
Hi, Heather.
So, we'll be saying hi to more people as the night goes on, as more people trickle in. But for now, the topic of conversation, I'm handing over to my brother Ramón.
Yes. So today we're going to be talking about divination in ancient Mesopotamia. On a previous show, we talked about divination in biblical times. And on a previous to that one, different forms of divination. And the purpose of this series is to explore divination methods used throughout histories and different cultures. And I wanted to first take a departure from biblical times, because when we talk about the Bible, we're talking about a big period of time from the creation of the world, according to the Bible, all the way after Jesus died and resurrected and was ascended, and his apostles went throughout earth spreading the word. So we're going back a little bit in time to talk about Mesopotamia. And when we talk about Mesopotamia, we're talking about a historical region which no longer exists nowadays as it. And in history, there's a lot of different historical regions that are not part of our current world. We're talking, for example, about the Roman Empire. We're talking about a historical region that covered the Italian peninsula, what today is Europe, North Africa, parts of Asia. We have historical Mesoamerica, that's Central America, what's Mexico, Guatemala, etc. Ancient Persia, we're talking about the Iran area and the Middle East. So Mesopotamia ancient Mesopotamia is also a historical region, and it covers what today it's an ancient region between the Tigris River and the Euphrates River on what today is modern Iraq, parts of Syria, Turkey, and Iran. And the term Mesopotamia comes from the Greek meaning the land between the rivers. And again, it was between those two rivers, the Tigris and the Euphrates. Euphrates. I always have a problem with that word. And this region saw the rise of some of the earliest complex civilizations in human history, beginning around 350 before Christ. And it included historical cultures like the Sumerians. The Sumerians lived between 3500 and 2000 before Christ. And through them is where we had the first form of writing, which is cuneiform, and it's like it's the oldest, and there's a lot of text still preserved as clay tablets that we got through them. We also had the Akkadians, and they lived between 2334 and 2154 before Christ. We had the Babylonians from 1894 all the way through 539 before Christ, and the Assyrians between 2500 and 609 before Christ. And these cultures they built the world's first cities, the first writing systems, like I said, cuneiform. They organized temple-based religions, societies, and they created some of the earliest scientific and legal and mystical systems that we know. This land was mostly flat and fertile, and it was very dependent on the flooding of the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. Why do I say that? Because as we know, human civilization flourishes, establishes, and grows close to bodies of water. So it's worth mentioning that the climate was very ideal for all these cultures and civilizations to develop. But even though it was fertile, it also required a lot of irrigation systems. So because the survival depended heavily on nature's cooperation, Mesopotamians view the world as controlled by divine forces, and they sought to understand and influence the will of the gods, which is where divination played a central role. And for peoples of Mesopotamia, the gods were not distant. They were active agents in everyday's life, responsible for everything from war victories to crop failures. And humans were created, in their view, they were created to serve the gods. But the gods rarely spoke directly to them. That's how they felt. So their intentions had to be interpreted through signs, omens, and dreams. Divination of Mesopotamia was therefore not superstition, but it was a formal state-supported system that was used to making military decisions, to diagnose illnesses and misfortunes, to time rituals and festivals, to choose kings, to construct temples, and overall determine the fate of the empires. Now, not everybody practiced divination. I mean, it was part of the culture, but there was people who were specialized in interpreting the signs. And these people within the society were the Baru, which were the experts in examining animal entrails and interpreting celestial omens. We had the Asipu, which were priests and ritual experts, often involved in exorcisms and healing, and they interpreted dreams and performed counter magic as well. And we had the Tupsaru, which were the scribes who copied, compiled, and maintained massive collections of omens and texts. So these practitioners were trained for years using libraries of clay tablets containing thousands of omens and interpretations. And that's one of the most interesting things about the cultures in Mesopotamia, is that they were observers but they also recorded, and that allowed them to build this huge wealth of information. Part of it we still preserve, it still exists, but they wanted to understand better the the messages from the divine, and they were masters in keeping records of all these different messages, and established like systems and formulas of how to understand the signs that they were getting. So their work was highly respected, and it was essential for not only in terms of spirituality but also for governance, because that was part of their everyday lives. Now, there were different types of divination methods in Mesopotamia, and they're divided into I divided them in two main categories. One of them is inductive divination, which is reading the signs of the natural world. And these methods involve carefully studying and interpreting external signs believed to be sent by the gods. And I'm going to go through a list of some of them. And the first one that we have is extipacy, which is hepatoscopy, which is the reading of livers. And this method, it was the most prestigious form of divination. How was it practiced? So a sheep or a goat was sacrificed, and its liver and sometimes lungs and gallbladder was examined. The liver was divided into different zones corresponding to different deities, and the Baru priests looked for markings, irregularities, or discoloration, and associate these with different divinities and different messages. So they compare the findings to omen compendiums that they have, and they recorded thousands of precedents, different colors, different patterns. That's how they were able to fine tune all these different methods, all these different messages through records that they kept on different ways that the livers might look, or markings that they might have. In terms of uses, this method was often performed before wars, uh, political decisions, or even religious constructions. That's the first method. The second method that we're going to explore is celestial divination, and this we know as astrology. And through here, diviners looked at the sky nightly and recorded the positions and movement of the sun, the moon, the stars, the planets, and different eclipses. And they interpreted these patterns as omens as well. And the most important astrological work, uh, still in preservation, was called the Enuma Anu Anili, which is a seven. It's much more than 70. Uh, it's a tablet with more than 70. It's a compendium of more than 70 parts of different celestial omens and signs that they were able to compile. And for them, Venus, Jupiter, and the moon were very, very significant in the readings on the celestial movements. And these often predicted the death of a king or even political upheaval. And the legacy, what's important about this is that this system laid the foundation for Hellenistic astrology, the astrology of the Greeks, which evolved into modern Western astrology. So this our knowledge that we have today was built upon a foundation that came from ancient Mesopotamia. Any questions so far?
Not yet. I made a
No,
note
it's
on
really interesting
something.
though. Yeah.
When you were talking about inductive, would this be uh, harbingers and omens and natural signs like
Yeah, you as a passive observer of the signs and interpreting them, basically. Because there's
nice?
other forms of divination in which there was a much more active role. What they would do is, there's signs and things happening around the world. in front of us, and those are messages that the gods are encoding for us to be able to discern.
Got it.
Wow.
All right. Method number 3, and we have teratomacy, and this is interpreting abnormal births, and this was unusual or deformed births of animals or humans that were seen as signs from the gods. An example of these will be like a lamb with 2 heads. This will signify rebellion or even a disease in the region. And these signs were documented and interpreted using omen series like the Summa Itspu, another collection of different signs, and basically it's sort of like an encyclopedia of, or dictionary more than anything, of this sign could mean this thing, or this is how we interpret it applied to different circumstances, the message that we're getting from the gods.
I would like to say before you go on, Ramon, anybody that has questions, please post them in capital. I'm going to star them, and when Ramon takes his next break, we'll address them.
All right. 4th one, meteorological or natural omens. And this is events like lightning strikes, earthquakes, and abnormal weather patterns. These were read as divine warnings. So the interpreters maintain records, also manuals correlating specific events with historical outcomes. So in this one, we still practice today under other different names, but is interpreting weather patterns or clouds, sometimes rain, the wind. It's broken down into more specific stuff, but it all comes from ancient Mesopotamia. So there's like a whole tract of knowledge and practice that for millennia we've been building upon, that's been part of not only our experience but throughout history.
Wow.
Yeah. So the second form, or the second group of divination, will be called the intuitive divination, which is direct divine revelation. And in these methods usually involve visions, dreams.
What was that called?
Intuitive divination.
Oh, just okay.
Intuitive divination. I mean, signs that you will get that it was a direct divine revelation, that you don't have to dig too much into it, but it was a message through the God, and through intuition you would understand. Whereas the other one was more of keeping records, like it was much more
Structured.
it's structure, closed. Like this, I don't know, this pattern on the liver means this, or this pattern means this other thing. This other one is more intuitive, right? It's still a message from the divine, but it involves your spiritual interpretation.
Okay, well, the first thing I thought of when you said that was tarot and Lenormand. One is very this, and the other is very direct in this. So 2 different types. I don't know how that relates. It just popped into my head. So I should have just written it down and talked about it later. I apologize. Please continue.
Right. That's fine. So intuitive divination, this was direct divine revelation. And these methods involve visions, dreams, or trance states in which a god was believed to communicate directly. And some of these methods we still practice today. And throughout history, we've seen it. We saw it through the Bible. We still, practice it. You don't have to practice divination. I think it's part of human experience, right? In which we understand the symbols of our dreams, right? And it has a meaning for us. And some people, even Christians, religions, they still interpret certain dreams as direct divine message. It's part of the human experience. Dreams, it's a world that we dive into, full of symbols, full of, I don't know, it's knowledge, but we take it from different sources. You know, it could be psychological, it could be spiritual, but the whole thing is that it's still something that is part of who we are, and we've carried that experience of interpreting them from way, way far behind. And in this case, dream divination, we know it as oneromancy, and we talked about this on the previous show of um, divination in historical in the biblical. I'm sorry, today I just have allergies, so I'm a
Me
little bit
too.
off.
I'm like, blah.
Yeah. So dreams were considered a vital channel for divine message, and royal dreams, especially royal dreams, were recorded and interpreted by trained experts. So there were people who were able to understand codings of symbols and meanings and go back to refer to them when interpretation was difficult. You know, and symbolic elements like rivers, lions, broken buildings were matched to omen texts. Some that still are in preservation, like the Iskar Saikiku.
I'm
And yeah,
got it.
uh-huh.
No, I was like trying to hear what you said again. Was it Iskar? What?
Iskar Saikiku. If you do a
Psychiku.
search, yeah,
Oh,
on
psychiku, psychic.
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
Saikiku. Um, so these were also like dream incubation practices in temple to induce visionary dreams. So sometimes they were actively have people sleep and dream and try to interpret to be able to create sort of like a database of symbols and meanings. And an example will be like dreaming about a collapsed wall might be interpreted as a warning of political instability or even war. Yeah, like I said, that's still part of our divination experience, and you don't have to actively be practicing divination to interpret dreams and understand that there's certain symbols that mean either certain things for you or even culturally. Like in the I don't know if like generally in the Hispanic culture, but at least in Puerto Rico, when you dream about teeth or your teeth are falling, it means that there's death close by, like physical death of someone who's close to you. Um,
well, our family read that as not having what you need, not being able to take in what you need to survive.
hmm yeah. And so there's a cultural component to that, but there's also a personal one.
Yeah.
One day I told my mom, "Oh, I dreamt that uh, my teeth were falling," and I dream a lot that my teeth are falling. But to me, it doesn't mean that. It's because I've always been like very careful with my oral health. That I'm always concerned about cavities and things. So
Por
I'm always having.
vanidoso?
No, it's not vanity. I mean, no, if oral health, it plays a really important
I
component.
know
It's
I'm
not just
joking. I don't have upper teeth, so I know what you're talking about. I have
oh,
dentures.
it's not only aesthetic because oral health also, if you're not careful with your with your oral health in general, that can lead to bacteria that can affect your heart. You can die of a heart attack from bacteria coming from your mouth. So I'm always like very conscientious about oral health. And one of my nightmares, recurring nightmares, is that I like a tooth all of a sudden falls. But to me, it's not death. It's more like a health issue. I don't know.
Why do I
It's
get the
weird.
feeling that even if you lost all your teeth, people are
I
still going to
know.
be sitting here going, "Oh, Ramon." Like
I remember. So yeah, so there's certain symbols that are part of the human archetype that culturally can mean one thing, but personally means something different. You know, I
right.
always have this recurrent nightmare also that I dream that I'm in college and the the year is to the end, the semester is it's up to an end, and I forgot about one class that I enrolled to, and I never went. And it's time. It's very late for me to be able to withdraw, and I'm gonna fail in that class. It's like the weirdest dream, but for years I always had that dream popping up. I'm in college and I forgot about a class I enrolled, and I'm gonna fail in that class, and it's gonna affect my GPA. It's I don't know, it's a weird dream, and we all,
That's a human dream. I think that's a human fear. Yeah.
I
you
mean,
know, and
I've had that because of being in school right now. I like completely have like a
yeah,
nervous breakdown.
hmm and to me, I don't know, it has a personal meaning that I can interpret. I still haven't been able to like decipher why is that. Some I'm sure it's a much deeper hidden fear. But we all have like the typical dreams when we're kids, going to school in our underwears, right?
Mm.
You're in the I used to dream a lot that I was in class and I realized that I was in my underwear. I didn't have pants.
Stop it. You did?
Yes.
That's hilarious.
I
I
heard
love
other
that.
people, yeah, I heard other people mentioning it too. I have people in the chat. Have you had that dream or like similar dreams? We all have dreams that they were falling, right?
Oh, the falling one I
The
get all the
Yeah,
falling
time.
one.
that
Yeah.
you're going down the steps and you miss a step, but like all of a sudden you wake up. Um, yeah. So
Mine was not just falling, but running in place and not being able to go anywhere.
Yeah, that was me too.
And I
Or like
had that.
trying to scream and I couldn't. Like
Yeah,
nothing was coming out of my
yeah.
mouth.
Mhm.
I had that dream for years until I found out one night. I don't know. I didn't do it on purpose, but I remember dreaming. I threw myself forward, and claws grew out of my fingertips, and I grabbed the ground and just started pulling myself like that with the claws in my fingers and toes. So basically, I shapeshifted.
Wow. Uh-huh.
I never had that
That's
dream after that.
I have a
Nice.
dream very often too that I am floating in the air. You know that sensation like when you're swimming, you're in the water, you're like pushing the water and it propels you. It's that same thing, but with air. Like I could feel the air and I'm sort of like moving. It's like swimming,
Are
but
you
in the
astral
air.
projecting while you're sounds like you're astral projecting.
I don't know, but they're really vivid. I can feel the air and
Yeah.
everything. It's like
That's
heavy.
It sounds like you're astral projecting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
Joey just had to point this out to me when I told her I don't like to astral project. It scares me. And then in the next breath, I said, but I do like to leave my body in animal form. And she looked at me like I was stupid. And I was like, she says, you realize that's astral projecting. I was like,
Hmm.
well, I do
mhm.
now. Okay. But I don't like
Yeah.
calling it that. It scares me.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. Go on.
Mr. Hardy said, I used to dream that I could swim in the air. It's exactly what I dream. It's
Yeah.
exactly that same feeling.
That's
It's
awesome.
exactly that. That it's like swimming, but in the air, and I can feel the air and everything.
I
That's
dreamt
so
I was
cool.
flying once, but I was on a broom.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it was funny.
All right. And let's go to. I think this might be the last form of divination, and it's called prophetic ecstasy. And on this one, sorry, where? Oh, I think I didn't load the image for that one. Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't load the image for that one.
That's it. Presentation's ruined.
No, so prophetic
No.
ecstasy occasionally individuals, often women, enter in a trance state and deliver messages from the gods. And these prophets were not part of the formal priesthood, but they were accepted in times of crisis. So like an oracle, but not official, not state sponsored. But it's interesting that they rely on, especially women, to be able to interpret and deliver these messages. And their statements were sometimes verified through other divination methods like ecstipsy, like uh, deliver, divination to deliver. So there was sort of like a confirmation, if you that might be the right word, of
Verification, maybe.
these verification. You know, I guess like we do sometimes, right? Clarification. Sometimes we pull a card and we get a message and we want further information and we pull another card for as a clarifier, right?
Mhm.
So if you do a research on Mesopotamian literature, you're going to find a lot of information related to these forms of divination. I'm not sponsoring any specific one. I'm not saying go and get a liver from an animal and read it, but these are very interesting ways of educating ourselves into um, how historically these divination methods have influence of who we are today. And all these divination methods have a legacy, a cultural legacy and influence. And examples of these are with the Etruscans and Romans. These were two cultures that they adopted liver reading, and not only that, but they also developed their own liver clay models, because they also have like samples of different forms of livers and patterns and how to read them.
May I say
Hmm.
here, ew. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and trails, divination using animal entrails was very common in the ancient world. You um, Today we see it differently, but that was part of their world. That's what they had accessible.
Awesome.
Um, yeah. What else? Babylonian astrology became the basics for Greek and medieval Islamic astrology, which we inherited a lot of that knowledge from. So Mesopotamia into the ancient Greek up to us today. So again, there's a knowledge that we had that was built over millennia, coming back from that time. The elements of dream interpretation and celestial signs, we see it throughout the Bible. We have examples like Daniel when he was interpreting uh, Nabucodonosor.
Nebuchadnezzar.
Nabucodonosor. Yeah, it's easier for me to say it in Spanish than
Yeah.
English. And that dream where there was like this giant, and it was made of different materials, and this stone came and broke it in pieces, and he interpreted that it was the fragmentation of his kingdom. We have in the Bible also the example of Joseph when he was interpreting the dream for the Pharaoh. So dream interpretation is a legacy that we today throughout the Bible and forever was knowledge built upon from ancient Mesopotamia. The
If you guys
Mesopotamia,
haven't seen the show we did on divination in biblical times, please go back and watch it. And Ramon also presented that one, so it is
with
it's going to be
images and
awesome
turn.
with
Yeah.
images. So please, it's
Yes.
awesome.
Thank you. Yes. And there's going to be a whole series that we're going to be doing on divination methods in different cultures. And I'll go a little bit further into that at the end. But Mesopotamian omen systems also influenced Zoroastrian, Judaic, and even early Christian esoteric views of the world. And through these pathways, Mesopotamian divination forms part of a deep structure of Western esoteric and occult traditions that we still keep. So even today, the basic structure of a horoscope, like tracking the planets against symbolic backgrounds, echoes of the nightly sky watching, and all these are part of what we got through the Mesopotamia. So, like in general terms, divination in ancient Mesopotamia was not just a spiritual practice, but it was a science of the sacred. And it combined religion, observation, and record keeping into comprehensive systems that guided kings, shaped policies, and influenced cultures for millennia. So Mesopotamians didn't simply try to control the future; they studied it and they recorded. And in doing so, they created the foundation of the world's first mystical, astrological, and prophetic system. So we have a lot to thank of our current knowledge and our current way of seeing the world, thanks to all these different cultures that before us saw the signs, possibly were much more connected with the divine through nature, and through them, we owe them a gratitude for the knowledge, that part of the knowledge that we have today. That's what I got.
I agree. Yeah.
Awesome. When you said that, I was expecting Heather to jump up and start singing, I saw the sun. I did have some questions. Selina, I'm Celia. Sorry, Celia.
You sound like my
Selina,
mom. My mom does that.
I know my grandmother was Jerry, Joe, Chip, Chuck, Mike, and she
Celia,
just ended up,
Selena, Sonia, Sandra.
yeah, just ended up pointing like that. It's a Latino thing. I think I've seen every single Latino household do that. I don't know if non-Latino households do that, but yeah, everybody's loving what you're serving here, Ramon. My question for you, did you have any questions, Selena? I'll let you go first if you do.
I don't. I'm still looking over my notes that I have here, but go ahead.
No worries. So in no particular order, let's address everybody else's questions first, because maybe that'll answer my questions. So the first question we had was from Play Love Remember. Did Vedic come in before Western astrology? Yeah, there was no West, right?
There was no West.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
The
was it.
Vedic tradition is much older. Um, Western astrology was influenced. Western astrology got a lot from Arabic traditions of not only divination but astrology as well. But Vedic is much older, and a lot of people see it as much more precise and much more real than Western. It's a personal choice.
When we refer to the area of the Tigris and Euphrates as the cradle of existence, the cradle of life, it's because that's where civilization started. Ramon is absolutely correct. Egypt, the same thing. It was near a body of water, and they built around it. So
yeah, the first writing system as well was cuneiform, and it came from ancient Mesopotamia. Not
awesome.
the oldest alphabet, because the oldest alphabet is Proto Sinaic. What the difference is, it's like 2,000 years younger between one and the other. The difference is that a divination, a writing system like cuneiform use symbols for words. Like, for example, if you go in modern English, a modern English dictionary has like 250,000 words, without counting the archaic, because if not, it'll be like 600,000.
Right.
But just imagine 250,000 symbols to be able to say something. So it took much more symbols and things to be able to deliver a message, whereas an alphabet doesn't. Maybe like 26 letters.
So we're talking oracle cards and tarot cards. Yeah, symbols can act as an oracle.
Yeah, but still, a writing system and being able to record ideas, knowledge, into
Writing
symbols,
evolved
preserving came from ancient Mesopotamia.
Yeah, it developed because they needed to keep finance records, as I believe.
Well, it's a lot of different things. They needed to record also the world to be able to predict.
Yes.
If you see, like, especially living around rivers, and having issues with irrigation, having to manipulate, they had to be aware of the patterns of the world in terms of like floods of water. And we see this in ancient Egypt as well.
That's a great point. They had to be aware of the patterns of the world. I love that statement.
Yeah, they had to be able to predict how and plan ahead.
So Thanks, Lennon. Yeah. Bowen made a comment. It's not a question. He just says these are super cool friends. I agree.
Yeah.
Bowen is a friend of mine and our Coven's groundkeeper. He's such
Oh,
a
nice.
cool little
Hi.
dude. I love that
Yeah.
man.
So I came up with I was reading that if signs said doom, like when they were doing their divination, that they acted on magic or ritual, and sacred word had power, so they believed that they could shift the fate enough to make a devotion to change their doom sign. So they were practicing magic to change the outcome, help change the outcome.
Yes. You can't.
I thought that was really cool.
You cannot
because we do that
affect
now.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't affect something unless you have a starting point and an ending point. So that's how I view it. Let's see, what do we got? Oh, this is a good one from Joanne Miranda about abnormal birth. The human abnormality known as clubfoot, was it fashion, prestige? Any thoughts on the top? Yeah, if somebody had a clubfoot, how would that be read?
Mm-hmm. Was it fashion, prestige? Any thoughts?
Like if they had any natural deformity, how was it perceived, and where they? At least that's how I'm understanding the question.
In terms of what, like ancient Mesopotamia?
Yeah.
Because you know how
I
you
mean,
had
it's-
the sheep
Mhm.
there, or whoever with the
Yeah.
two heads.
Mm-hmm. Well, they had their own signs, like specific for like different issues with human. I don't know, to be honest. Yeah,
We'll look into it for you.
They had like records of like all these different possible messages through different things. I mean, when you're talking about the human body, there's so many things that could be
Right.
considered a defect. You know, a twisted finger. I don't know, you're missing an eye, or
Here
you're
we
missing
have
a hand. Could be a different meaning for each one.
we
of
have
them.
our next question from Wild Raven Tarot.
Mhm.
Were there specific gods that dealt with oneiromancy?
Good question. I'm not sure.
Okay, we
I know
just
it's
did.
with liver divination, they divided the liver with different divinities that they had, and it will be like a specific message
I'm gonna
from
look into that
each
because
one
that
of them.
sounds like a good
Mhm.
question. I'm wondering about that now.
Mhm.
Catch up on chat real quick. Yeah, I can't
So
talk
so the
today
gods
either.
there during that time were Anu, Eni, Inanna, Nabu.
Oh yeah, Nabu. Yeah,
So those were all the
Enki,
gods in that time. So sky,
Mhm.
wind,
Yes.
love and war,
Mhm.
wisdom.
Inanna. Yeah.
There, the collection of knowledge that they compiled, it's so dense and it's so rich that
Yeah.
you have to dig deeper to be able to find specifics, you know.
Yeah, we're not experts, you guys. We are passing on information that we have come to know.
But
Ereshkigal.
Yeah, Ershkigal.
yeah, but there's resources available online of translations that they've done of a lot of
Yes.
these texts, because some of them they're either missing parts, so the integrity of the text is not complete. But there's a whole collection available online that you can do a research, like ancient Mesopotamia divination, and text that you can go to be able to read further into it. But we're talking about archaic forms of speech and translation, so it might be a little bit difficult. I don't know if you guys ever read the book of the Egyptian Book of Death. It's an amazing text, but it's very hard to read because of the
Yeah.
verbatim translation that was done. It's hard. I know there's modern translations to be able to actualize it and be able to understand it better, but you're looking into something like that. So
Yeah, it's same thing with the Greek magical papyri. I did a show on it one time and I made reference to it, and somebody wrote back like that was a lot. It's like, yeah, it was. So when you were talking about methods of receiving messages, and you breached on intuitive.
Mm-hmm.
A couple people were throwing out questions like sex magic, pharmakia, so getting high or having
Mm-hmm.
sex using that energy. Is that what you were talking about?
Yes, very similar. Like we nowadays do studies on dream patterns. Is that you're induced into sleeping to be able to monitor how your body responds during sleep. Same things, but they were tapping into the dream world, symbols, and trying to build a much richer collection of possible interpretations of symbols. So there were like these labs that they will do to study dreams and try to extract more information of meanings.
That's an interesting thing, because it reminded me that when we're talking about these ancient cities, within these ancient cities, there were cities where the priests and those who dealt with divinity were. So think Vatican City. That's not a new concept. This stretches all the way back um, to there. So I got that question. Um,
There's one from Janet Lee.
yeah, I saw that. Is this about your toothpaste?
Yes, I recommend Colgate Optic White. I've been using it for years and I love it.
Dude, you should do commercials for them. So, because everybody I can guarantee is going to go out and buy some right now.
No, it's really good. It's really good. Optic White. It keeps like my teeth like really white because it has peroxide. So it helps. I use that. I use their mouthwash also. It's fantastic. Like
Somebody once, a couple of years ago, somebody told me, "Oh, you've got such nice teeth," and I took them out and looked at them. I said, "Really?" And I put them back. That was awesome. Okay, so
no,
now,
but that's the aesthetic part. But in reality, flossing is very important. I always floss. I use a water pick also. And I'm
uh,
saying that because that oral health is important. It's not just aesthetic, but it can affect other parts of your body, especially your heart. And as we age, our immune system changes, and any bacteria is an opportunity to develop something
to thrive,
worse.
yeah,
Do you have a tongue
yes.
brush too, like a tongue scraper?
I do. I have this thing that stretches my mouth to be able to like brush my teeth easy. Oh, and I use an electric brush. I don't use like the manual one. I use a rotating one that oh my god, it cleans so
Look how happy he gets
super.
talking
I
about
know, I love
No, it's
that.
so because you feel it like, and I've been using one for like 10 years now, and you feel like the difference of how clean it is. Like, yeah. Anyway, we're off topic,
Lennon
but
says, who cares? We're having a good time. We can't all be into like focused all the time. We need those energy spots. So Lennon asks one article, or says one article said that they based the divine based on sides of the body, like the right side was bad and the left side was good. The reason I brought that up is because you guys see a lot of people online, Ginger Faye, myself included, doing the tingling thing where that's an indicator of our guides being nearby. Honestly, I never thought of it as good and bad. So thank you for throwing that out there. What I
yeah,
thought
and,
about it was
that
is
still
known to me.
exists.
Yeah, known to me and not known to me. So this would be people I know, and this would
Mhm.
be outside entities.
Yeah.
But
And that's
yeah,
how I view them too.
thank you for that.
Um,
No, we're
and that
not.
that still exists. I mean, we see it um, like in Muslim traditions, right? There's one side that uh, the devil, they consider that evil comes from
Mhm,
the left side, whereas the right side is it's the divine.
right.
And in different Middle Eastern traditions, that is still a thing. You know,
Yeah, things evolve too. That's gonna
in
bring me to
terms of
my.
left side evil and
and
good.
benign, good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's why words that we use today, like sinister, because you had diestra from the Italian, diestra and siniestra, which is right and left. And siniestra, it's derived from sinister. Anything that's left. That's why we talk about, that like left political points of view, which are out of the order, out of the norm, right? And the left side has always been considered the evil. That's why writing with your left hand was a big no. I'm left-handed.
Yeah.
But there's always been that dichotomy between right, left, good, and evil.
You're left-handed? That
I'm
explains
left-handed.
so much. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm both.
Someone
I'm
said
both.
that to me the other day.
Yeah.
That's why you're weird. That explains
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
My
Candy-
mom
With
is
my
left-handed.
I
Really?
open up containers
My
with
mom's
my
left-handed.
left. I write with my right. Yeah, I'm ambidextrous.
ambidextrous. She goes both ways. So Candy's broom closet ask, is Saturn dignified in your chart, Ramon? He rules the teeth. And I bring that up because I'm going to touch on astrology. I didn't know that about Saturn. That's cool. That would make sense. The Saturn deals with time and old age. Astrology, that's what it was. That was in my notes. Astrology may have originated back in the day, you guys, but it has evolved throughout time and region. So, I mean, the stars we look at right now are constantly changing. These are not the stars that they had those thousands of years ago. We are not seeing the same things. There used to be another sign of the zodiac at one point. The snake handler. Ophiuchus, the snake handler. Pluto used to be a planet. Now it's considered not. Astrology evolves, and cultural meanings that are applied to them change over time. Let me see.
See, I resonate with true sidereal, so I do have Ophiuchus he's the 13th.
Let's see.
Astrological sign. Yeah.
What do y'all do today that is influenced by this time period? Like mine are talismans, amulets, puppets, divination. It feels so good to know ancient ancestors that did some of these too. Yes, this is not new stuff that we do, you guys. This has been going on since man has been able to utter the phrase, I wonder, ever since then. I agree. Knowing where we came from helps see where we're going. What do you guys? Divination is mine. When you talked about the intuitive, I do theurgy. I do oracle work. I don't use tools. And for a long time, I thought there was something wrong with me because I wasn't ritualistic magic like all my friends were. To make that connection, I was thinking to myself, I don't need it. I do act as an oracle, so it's a totally different type of divination feeling for me than when I'm doing, say, an astrology read or a reading on the energy of the major arcana or something like that. It's very, very different. It's pure spirit for me. And I like to think of the Oracle of Delphi, putting yourself in a trance. That's what I do. So when you see me getting high, doing my 420 shows, that's what I'm doing. I'm putting myself in that liminal space.
Yeah.
I'm not reckless about it. So I've had a couple people send me private messages saying, you really shouldn't be doing that. No, you really should learn more before you approach me with a comment like that.
You better check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Before you wreck, I would have been politer, but the way it was worded was not polite. It wasn't even somebody from our tribe, so I don't know who the hell it was. So are there any other questions, peeps? Let me go down. Yeah, they left us. Yeah. left hands. Water scrying. Yeah, as long as there's been elements on the planet, people have been using them for divination.
Mhm.
As long as people have been able to bend over and pick up a rock for good luck, it's been going on.
Mm-hmm.
Eris witchcraft.
Hey, Courtney.
How you doing tonight, boo boo? Oh, that's Courtney. Hi, nice to meet you, Courtney. CELINA has mentioned you before.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
She did the Divine Feminine last month. Like
yes,
that was under her like VR with Rochelle. Phenomenal. I mean, I learned so much about myself in that month. Yeah, it was just so good.
This is why we want to unite as many people
Mhm.
as possible for knowledge, because you guys have things that I know nothing about. People in chat
Yeah,
have things I know nothing about. I may have a couple nuggets of information that they don't know. So
Mhm.
exchanging this information is
Yeah.
fantastic, and I love it. And this is
yeah,
part of
definitely
my
follow Courtney. She's such a strong
Courtney. Do you want to go
female
ahead and
presence. Yeah,
post your link up there?
yeah. Aries witchcraft. She's such a
There it is.
strong,
Ah, there it is. Thanks,
strong
Yadira.
presence about her, and her Divine Feminine was very, very deep, and it really like February Self Love that Rochelle did with Amethyst Ascension. I was like in tears, but in good tears, like, you know, the cleansing kind of tears, like knowing who I was, you know, realizing that there's this other deeper, darker divine feminine inside of me.
Yes,
Beautiful.
we do try to be supportive not only of
Mhm.
each other and ourselves, but of everybody else.
Yep.
Because it's just reciprocal. You guys have always supported us, so we want to
Yeah.
make sure that we're providing good information for everybody.
Mhm.
Yeah, totally. You know, and the other important thing about sharing this information is that it gives us perspective.
Perspective.
It widens our field of view of who we are, what we do, how we see the
Yeah.
world. You know, that this is not a thing that just started yesterday. You know, that it's part of the human experience, has been practiced throughout history. And you know, there's like I mentioned before, the knowledge that we have today has been built upon experiences from the past, and the knowledge that people will have in the future, the experience is going to be built up for what we are doing today. So this is not just static, it's something that it continues in motion. So what we're doing, we're adding into the history of divination and the experience that will be used in the future.
Exactly. Somebody one day will look back and say they used to have this sage named Ramón Santiago, and he. This is a complete
Not only did he help
possibility
me
in
with
the
my white teeth, but he
It
helped me
is.
with
right.
Oh God.
I pray to la
We love you, Ramon.
Santo
San
Ramon. San Ramon.
No, don't.
So
Who knows? We're joking, but I mean,
no,
not just on
it's
me,
a
but
complete possibility.
someone looking back,
in the
someone looking
future,
back,
we may
us,
be seen
yes.
as ascended masters. We
Right.
may be seen as people who help the community out. We don't
And
know.
for me, if I just help one person, like that is, and that makes my life,
What
my
she said.
meaning on this world perfect. Like one
Yes.
person, that's all.
And not just the three of us, all of us in general, the community. you know?
Yes.
That's why our voice is important.
Yeah,
Everybody's
sharing
voice
your
is
thoughts.
important. Yeah, that's why
There-
like
you
when you
always-
guys interview, yeah, you
There's
want to know
always
everybody's
something to
story,
add.
where they came from. Their voice is important. Their story is important.
That's why I do behind the cards. I want to
Mhm.
know everybody's story. Nobody's story is any more important than anyone else's, but they do help each other. I mean, people's stories touch different people in different ways. So I will continue to do that until I die. I have two things. When you were talking about the liver divination, in modern folk magic, we have things like the limpia, where you use the egg over, you know this, so I don't mind telling you, to cleanse the body, and then you can crack the egg in a glass and see how it looks. My question about the sheep, does there have to be a connection to the sheep for that family or that house? Does it have to be their sheep, or can they import it and be a total stranger sheep?
With
Do they have?
Mesopotamia, these were priests. These were like trained people who
Well,
would
I
do
mean,
these.
were the sheep cared for, or were they just selected at random?
Actually, yes. From what I read, it had to be a sheep that physically looked perfect.
There you go. That's what I was
Yes.
after.
Mhm.
Was there guidelines, basically? Is what I'm
Yes,
saying.
yes. It had to be like it's immaculate. That's the right word. You know, it can't be like any physical defects or stains or any like weird marks. It had to be that the integrity of how it looked and how it behaved was important for the purity of the message.
Well, I do
Good
want
question. That was a great question. Yes.
the I can't remember the name of the gods. There was the big gods like the 12 Olympians in Greece, and then there was the other gods that served the big gods. Well, they got tired of doing all the work, you guys, so everybody created man to serve the gods. I can't remember my question. But it had to do with that. I scribbled. These are my notes, you guys. Look at how scribbled they are.
Yeah, I
right.
can totally read that.
Yeah. So
Can
I'm
you
like,
read that, Ramon?
I
Like
read
the
half.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Bobby, show it back up
My
again.
God.
Show your notes to Ramon. Can
These
you
are
read
my-
that, Ramon?
My goodness.
Yeah.
I
Well, you
love
guys
that.
have to remember, I have tremors in my hand, so I can't
No, but I
write.
look at you.
No, but it looks really cool.
It does. It looks like
Uh-huh.
a sigil of some
Like
sort.
a sigil almost.
Exactly.
It
Yes,
had to do
and
with theurgy.
Candy said something I was thinking. I was thinking about the Anunnaki because I read that the Anunnaki created men to be able to mine their gold fields. They came to Earth looking for gold as a precious metal to protect their planet or their system from.
Not everybody knows who the Anunnaki are.
We should do a show on the Anunnaki one day.
We're going to, because I was watching Heart and Soul Connected earlier, and they were talking about galactic beings, and yeah, I finally made a connection that I hadn't really made before. I do serve Hermes, whose mother was Maya, one of the Pleiades. It didn't even occur to me that I've been working with the energy of the Pleiades for decades now, and I was
That's so cool.
huh? How about that? I never really made it.
I'm wearing a star seed bracelet that was made for me with an alien on it.
Was this who made that for you?
It was the witchy best friend,
really
Jess.
Nice. Oh, that's cute. I like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she made me a bracelet.
My friends. Oh, pretty. It's got a little alien on it.
Yeah, ain't he cute?
Man, yeah.
I
star.
Nearby. I used it the other
Oh,
night
that's
in a
cute.
reading.
And then that says star seed.
My alien Letterman deck.
Oh, I see that.
We got to do an alien show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody in the crowd is saying that too. Tarot and Oracle for the Soul. Yes, that's where I got the alien. I want to do a show on that. The problem is I don't know enough to present on it, but now I have a reason to go
and research it.
Dig into it. Heck yeah. Yes, I love that deck. It's so cute. The only other Lenormand deck that I use, or Lenormand, if you're talking Lenormand to my friends who actually use it. This is the Malefique.
I have that. Yes,
this is my favorite little deck.
So
that's like a creepy cute, isn't it?
It is creepy cute. There was a tarot deck, the Needman Tarot, that matches it, but it wasn't vibing with me. However, Joey saw it and freaked out over it, and so I just gave it to her. So yeah,
what's it called? What is it called?
The Needman Tarot, Gnidman.
Okay. Text it to me later.
Yeah,
so
I'll
I can-
text it to you. I'll send you the link. My friends in chat, please post your questions because this is the time to ask. There are no silly questions.
Nope.
Just silly people that don't
Just
ask
so people. That's so
questions.
South Park, right? You got that from Mr. Garrison.
I did.
But he said there's no stupid questions, just stupid people.
Yeah. But I didn't want to call our chatter stupid.
I know. Yeah, so like I mentioned before, there's going to be a series of divination on different historical times and cultures. I'm going to be away for 2 weeks, but next time I'm back, I'm going to be exploring divination in ancient Egypt, and that's a very dense topic.
Yeah, we'll be having two people not replace you because you can't be replaced.
Of course
but we'll
not.
have two people coming in.
Nobody
on those,
is.
2 weeks. So we're gonna have Heather from Indigo Jaguar, but now she's Bone by
Ash
Frost
and
Bone
Indigo. Bone,
Mhm.
Ash, and Indigo.
And that's on the first week. So that's next week, right? And then the week after, we're gonna have Yadira from Underneath the Veil of Marigold.
Mm-hmm.
Home girl. Okay.
You're it, girl. You're coming on.
So
be in
I
the
do
hot
want to get with Heather and you to talk about next week. So Heather, I'll be contacting you later on. I would like to take a chance to let everybody know about our Facebook group. We have started a community forum on Facebook. I believe it's in the links page. In there, we will post all these videos, but it's a discussion place for you to let us know what you would like us to talk about. What do you want us to look into to present to you? And we've gotten a couple of really good suggestions so far. And I'm excited about it. I should have had the link on hand to post, but it is in my description box, I believe. So, Ramon, where are you going?
I'm going to Mexico City. I'm going to be spending there almost 2 weeks. I love Mexico City. I've been there a couple times. Amazing city. It's an amazing city. So
Do you have
full of
room in your
history.
luggage?
Yes.
For like a person?
Yeah, I'll chop you in different parts and fit you in.
I'm coming with you.
Yes. Yeah, Mexico City is amazing. I've been twice. This will be my third time. I'm going to other areas like Puebla, Taxco, Cuernavaca.
You're going to Puebla?
I'm going to
I
Puebla.
love
Yeah.
that's
Uh-huh.
I love that simply because of the historic
Mm-hmm.
association.
Mexico City.
Oh,
Yeah.
we talked about it
Mhm.
on the Santa Muerte show that we did, the Battle of Puebla.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. Cinco de Mayo. Cinco de Mayo.
Yes. Oh, is it the Cinco de Mayo show?
Cinco de Mayo. Yeah, because that's where it started. Cinco de Mayo is the celebration of
That's right.
when the Mexican
That's right.
forces defeated
Ah.
the
Now I
army of
feel
Napoleon
stupid.
in Puebla.
La Batalla
Yeah.
de Puebla.
Yes,
That's back
and I'm
when Mexico had
I'm-
an emperor, you guys.
yes, and I'm planning to go to hopefully to meet Doña Queta, the lady who started the whole movement of Santa Muerte. Not who started, but who brought it to the forefront in modern times.
Right.
Because it went underground for centuries, and it wasn't until she brought her statue outside in front of her house that like everything exploded and everybody came out of the closet. Yes, I venerate her too, and it blew into this whole
I'm so excited for you.
worldwide. Yes, I'm excited also.
Ramon, don't you have a second YouTube channel that is bilingual and focused on
Yes.
Santa Muerte?
Yes, I already have a handle for it. It's called Santa Muerte Luminosa. I'm gonna write it, but it's a channel that I don't have any content put up yet. But you're welcome to subscribe. Anybody? Let me write it here.
He is going
Oh.
to have the content, and you know the quality of his show. So if you would like to see that presentation in 2 languages, make sure you subscribe
Yes.
to him.
Santa Muerte Luminosa.
I told him
Uh,
that before too. He
Oh
needs to
yeah,
do
thank you.
vlogs.
Yeah, so it's going to be all Santa Muerte, history, prayers, readings, interviews, both in English and Spanish, and all Santa Muerte. You know, because it's an opportunity just to talk more about her. I talked about it before, but there's a lot of like misunderstanding, lack of knowledge, and me as a devotee, it's my duty to be able to share that knowledge with people in the community. So
That's
I don't want it to be diluted with my other content. That's why I mean I'll talk to Santa Muerte as many times as needed in my channel, but I want one just where people can go as a resource just on her.
okay. You've got some
Yeah, I
subs
posted your link,
already.
Ramon.
Thank you for subscribing.
Mhm.
Very soon I have some stuff already put together. I'm gonna be loading a lot of things
You
very
guys
soon,
want
so
some
stay tuned.
ASMR to fall asleep to? Watch Ramon do a show where he's speaking Spanish. It is so relaxing, you guys, because it reminds me of home. I'm not around anybody who speaks. I don't speak good Spanish. My Spanish is not good. Put it that way.
I mean, I speak it. It's not as bad, but I don't practice it. So I
No,
don't. But like
I
I
Like
said,
any
follow
language is
along.
practice.
my mom,
Yeah.
I'm struggling to find words for the tarot because it's not in my normal vocabulary in Spanish, you
Right.
know?
Well, that's Spanglish. Do it in English.
Spanglish. Mhm.
Say, aquí tengo la magician card. And
Like in the
Yeah.
Selena movie when she say, "Me siento excited."
excited.
The gift I sent you guys.
Yes,
my,
yeah.
Yeah.
my brother-in-law
Oh my
used to
God.
put le in front
How
of
are-
everything.
Oh, speaking
Le
of, do you want to talk
table.
about tomorrow?
What's that?
Mañana?
Oh yes, you
Yeah.
guys.
We have a
Did we
pop-up
decide
show.
on it? Do we have? We're doing a pop-up show tomorrow. Did we set the time?
We
Not
have
yet.
not set a time, but because
Yeah.
it's kind of like a
A
rated,
pop-up.
it's not for kids.
Yeah, that's a thing. So it is going to be towards the later part of the day. We will be breaking out our naughty
deck?
ass cards. You call them rebel deck. I call them naughty ass decks. And
So yeah, we're gonna be doing
I'm
some.
using my Swear Tarot
yeah.
also.
So
It's
we're gonna be doing
awesome.
have you guys
swearing.
seen Ramon swear? It is
I
so
know it's the cutest thing
it
ever.
is
My
adorable
God.
because he looks so guilty after he does it. He's like
It
Whose
feels
show is that
weird
we
to
were
be
bumming
live
it with?
and talk. It say
we were
all these
texting him
curse
when he
We were
was
words.
texting him
doing
while
it.
he was doing it.
He would say, "Get your shit together," and me and Selena would send him messages. Sangre de Cristo,
And I'm like,
hermano.
I'm gonna be using the
Horrible.
Swear
That's
Tarot
horrible
and the
behind the
Rebel
scenes. Like
deck.
our text messages are pretty, yeah.
Yeah, saying those words, fuck shit, and like in a spiritual context, it's weird.
It is weird. I used that
But-
for the first time yesterday in a professional reading.
Yes, but it's part of the charm, you know.
Yeah,
Because
so
I don't know.
definitely stop over for our pop-up. Adults only, no
We
children,
have-
nobody under
yeah.
18.
Viewers' discretion is advice.
And because you're going to be getting some inappropriate cards.
I know you're not used to hearing me cuss, everybody, but it just may happen.
Mhm. I got the Rebel deck as a gift from Sherry because we have a show the third Saturday of every month. It's
Mhm.
it's a late owl show.
Sherry,
and
Voices from the Swamp. You guys.
Voices from
I
the
also have
Swamp.
this
Yeah.
one, these two as well.
So I'm always there. Subscribe to her channel. She's amazing, beautiful
The
soul.
Rebel deck.
And she uses this, and I was using my innocent clean decks, and she said, "No, you need this."
Hey, Bobby,
So I
did you get
got
this
it.
one yet?
No, not yet, but I'm
She
going
uses
to now that I
that-
saw it.
I don't. Me personally, I don't like using that word. I don't know, but because what if you're reading for a woman? You know, between gay guys is different, but you know,
Yeah,
like
we say bitch all the
well,
time. But you know what?
listen,
When I
bitch.
use the term bitch, I don't use it in a derogatory term. There
No,
are,
of course not. But
there
still,
are, it's a power word for me.
And the
Hecate
way you
has,
accentuate the
I'm
word
not
Yeah.
there
that comes
yet.
out.
So
yeah, Hecate has aspects known as bitch, like the black dog, the black bitch is the title, or
Yeah,
the
Lita said she's a
bitch
legit
mare.
pirate mouth on her channel, and she is.
Oh,
And
I
I
know. That's
know
why I
that.
saw it. I was like, this bitch is all right. You know? Oh, sorry, you guys. Um, yeah, a lot of my friends don't cuss. That's
it's
why they
not
have
part of
me
my
around.
daily vocabulary.
No,
I have
because
to
I
be
was
like
shocked
really
when I heard
angry.
him say swear words, and I'm like,
It was
I checked him.
adorable.
I'm like, did you just say a swear word?
All right, you
Yeah.
guys.
So
So,
tomorrow.
do we have anything?
Well,
What do you? That is what we have coming up for tomorrow. And I just got a message from Miss Tarot D, saying, "Bobby, don't worry, your package is on its way." um, when they were
Because
opening
you
their
live
stuff.
further away, so
Yeah, I live out in the Toolies, so if you go 2 doors past the boonies, I'm in the Toolies right there. Yeah. What else have you guys got coming up? Who
no,
shows? Your shows?
I have. I'm gonna be on Saturday at Sherry Voices of the Swamp. It's officially supposed to be on the third, but on the third Saturday, but I'm away on the third Saturday, so we moved it to the second for this month. And last week I just crashed her show, so this month I'm gonna be two Saturdays over there, which is fun because I love Sherry. So Saturday, Voices of the Swamp, I think it's at 11:05.
That was probably one of the best times I had. Me and Selena were just texting for hours. And it was a blast. We were trying to make Ramon laugh.
On the background, it was a lot of fun, like
Yeah.
live, teasing me live
yeah,
right there.
yeah, we were teasing him live, guys, and I
It
was
was
like,
so much
you could
fun.
win a poker game because you have a poker face. and
Yeah,
I know
he
you want to
did
laugh at our
not.
message.
He did
But
not
you're
let
laughing.
on.
Yeah.
You live in Flagstaff? Awesome. Oh, live.
Yes,
Sarah,
I
you
live in
was like, Heather,
Philadelphia.
Pierce.
Heather lives in it. No, she doesn't live in Flagstaff. And tomorrow, well, Selena, what do you have? Did you say?
Just the live with you guys on Saturday.
Okay. Awesome.
Or
And then
Friday.
Thursday night we'll be back. Tomorrow night we've got the live, and then tomorrow.
I'm busy with college, guys. It's so hard for me to do it more lives.
I know. That's why. Yeah. Don't worry about it. We got you, boo.
Thanks.
I have another show tomorrow too in the morning time with Sasha Graham, and
In the morning.
in the morning.
What do you call morning?
This is going to be like 9 o'clock. What do I call morning? 1 p.m. But
Which is like 12.
Let me see.
Your 9 o'clock.
Yeah, let me double check the time. Yeah, 9 a.m. my time. So it would be 10,
It'd be
11, 12 your
like-
time.
Okay.
Wow. That is early.
That's
for you.
early.
You better get some sleep before
Where is
that.
she at? She's in England?
No, she's in New York, I think.
Oh.
Well, no, she might be in England. She was at a conference. But there's a reason I chose to go early. You guys, there will be some surprises. So if you
Stay
can
tuned.
tune in, please. I
Do
don't
we
want
have
to blow.
a time for tomorrow's pop-up? Or just popping up?
Yeah, we haven't decided yet. We will be posting it. I'll make everything and post it within a couple hours, so everybody will be notified. If not tonight, then at least by midnight.
Thanks, Yalid. I'll try not to. She said, "Don't burn out." She says, "I'm busy AF." Don't
No,
burn
I'm
out,
watching
my
her
witch
ass.
bitch.
No, I'm keeping her grounded, and I'm watching.
I'm trying, Yalida.
She's got me and Ramon here.
I have been minimizing my time on social media as well. Like, I don't try and sit through all the lives. I just can't mentally do it right now.
Yeah, I put my hearing aids on. Dentures, hearing aids. Oh
Yeah.
my God, I'm falling apart. I'll put my hearing aids on and play my videos through it while I'm cleaning the house or doing whatever I have to do.
Yeah.
But tomorrow I'm not taking clients. It's all YouTube. So that's going to be fun.
Nice.
Yay.
And if nobody else has any questions, we're going to go ahead and call it for tonight, because although it's only 7:30 here for me,
It's 10:30 here for us.
it's 10:30 for my friends here. All right, we love you all.
Love you guys. Thank you all.
Thank
for
you,
stopping
everybody,
over
for
and
being
saying
here.
Hi and
Bless you
Bye.
chatting
all.
with everybody.
I
In
gotta
the
go
chat
eat.
and subbing and everything. I really appreciate this sense of community with everybody.
We appreciate
Amen.
you. Love
Yeah.
you. Bye.
Good
Bye,
night.
guys.